Have you ever felt a chill run down your spine as if you're not alone in an empty room? Imagine yourself in a grand old hotel, a place steeped in history and shrouded in mystery. Its majestic walls have borne witness to countless tales of joy, sorrow, love and fear. This hotel, sprawling and venerable, holds a myriad of secrets within its hallowed halls. Now let's venture into its dimly lit corridors, where the echoes of the past linger in the air. At first the signs are subtle, so subtle that you might dismiss them as mere figments of your imagination. The flickering lights that dance in the periphery of your vision, casting long, menacing shadows that seem to come alive in the darkness. The eerie noises that creep into your ears, an orchestra of creaking floorboards, and the whispering wind, weaving an unsettling symphony. And then, there are the items that seem to move ever so slightly out of place. You'd swear you left your keys on the desk, but now they're on the floor. That painting on the wall, didn't it used to be straight? These are the telltale signs, the soft whispers of the unseen visitor. Yet, the staff of this grand old hotel have grown accustomed to these strange happenings. The flickering lights are just old wiring, they'd say. The eerie noises, nothing more than the old building settling. The misplaced items, merely the result of forgetful guests or careless co-workers. They'd laugh it off, shrug their shoulders and continue with their day. But there's a certain unease that lingers, a prickling sensation at the back of their minds. It's easy to dismiss when the sun is high and the hotel is bustling with life. Yet, when night falls and the corridors grow quiet, that's when the doubt creeps in. That's when the unseen visitor makes its presence felt most strongly. But the staff had grown accustomed to these strange occurrences, that is until the night of the storm. Storms have a way of bringing hidden things to light, don't they? It was a night of tempestuous weather where the sky was a theater of thunderous applause and lightning's spectacular performance. The hotel, once a sanctuary of warmth and comfort, had transformed under the storm's orchestration, becoming a stage for the unseen. The wind howled like a pack of wolves, its echo reverberating through the labyrinthine corridors of the hotel. The guests and hotel staff, each snug in their own corners of the building, were not alone. There was a palpable undercurrent of something else, something otherworldly. Doors began to play a chilling symphony of their own, opening and closing with a mind of their own, as if invisible hands were toying with them. The rhythm was erratic, unpredictable. A cacophony of creaks and slams that resonated in the bones of the old building. Then the whispers started. Soft, indistinct murmurs that seemed to flow down the empty halls like a haunting melody. Words were indistinguishable, but the tone was clear. It was a chorus of voices, whispers from the past, echoing their stories in the present. And it wasn't just the sounds. There was a feeling in the air, a cold, prickling sensation that crawled up the spine, raising goosebumps on the skin. The kind of feeling that made you look over your shoulder, expecting to see something in the corner of your eye. Yet, there was nothing. Every shadow seemed deeper, every silence more profound. A sense of being watched lingered, as though unseen eyes were observing from the corners, from the mirrors, from the flickering lights. It was as if the hotel itself had become a living entity, breathing and watching its occupants with an unsettling awareness. As the storm raged on outside, the terror within the hotel escalated. The line between reality and imagination blurred as the hours ticked by, each moment more unnerving than the last. By the time dawn broke, everyone was convinced. The hotel was haunted. The storm had stirred more than just the elements. It had awakened something that had been sleeping, something that was now very much awake. But who or what was haunting the old hotel? As our story unfolds, we delve deeper into the heart of the mystery. An unexpected discovery comes to light, a room hidden away in the depths of the hotel, untouched for what seems like an eternity. Imagine, if you will, a door creaked open for the first time in decades, revealing a time capsule of the past. The air, heavy with the scent of dust and old paper, fills your senses as you step into the room. A sense of reverence washes over you. This is not just any room, this is a piece of history, frozen in time. In the room, we find a collection of items that give us our first real clue to the identity of our ghost. A diary, its pages yellowed and brittle with age, lies on a dusty table. The handwriting, elegant and flowing, tells tales of a life lived long ago. The entries speak of joy, of sorrow, of a life filled with both love and heartbreak. Beside the diary, a pile of vintage clothes, their fabric faded and worn. The style, reminiscent of the early 20th century, gives us a hint to the time our ghost might have lived. A beautiful dress, a pair of delicate gloves, a string of pearls. each item a testament to the elegance and grace of an era long past. But it's the portrait that truly captivates us. A young woman, her eyes filled with a mixture of hope and melancholy, her features so familiar yet so haunting. Could this be the face of our unseen visitor? The clues found within the room begin to weave a narrative of a life lived within the walls of the old hotel. A life cut tragically short perhaps. A spirit, unable to move on, haunting the halls of the place she once called home. This was no ordinary guest. This was the hotel's unseen visitor. But what happens when the unseen decides to make itself seen? Let's delve into the heart-stopping encounter between an unsuspecting hotel guest and the specter that haunted these hallowed halls. Picture this: the dead of night, a lonesome room, and a guest whose sleep is about to be anything but peaceful. Our guest, let's call him John, had just settled down for the night. The storm had passed, and the hotel was eerily silent. Suddenly a cold chill swept through the room. The air grew heavy, the silence deafening. A sense of dread filled John's heart. It was as if the very walls were holding their breath, waiting for something, or someone. Then, as if materializing from the cold air itself, she appeared. A young woman, ethereal and sorrowful. She was dressed in a long, flowing gown, the fashion of a bygone era. Her eyes, though ghostly, held a deep sadness, a silent plea. This was not a spirit to fear, but one seeking help. John, frozen in fear, could do nothing but watch as she moved closer. Her lips moved, forming silent words he couldn't understand. He strained his ears, the silence in the room giving way to a faint whisper. A name, a plea, a confession. The ghostly woman was sharing her story, a tale of love lost and a life ended too soon. She reached out, her spectral hand hovering over John's heart. He felt a rush of emotions, sadness, despair, longing. It was as if he was feeling her pain, her regret. She needed him to know, to understand. She needed him to help her. The room grew colder, the air heavier, the sorrow in her eyes deepened. She had a story to tell, a mystery to unravel. She was reaching out from the beyond, seeking justice, seeking peace. It was a plea that could not be ignored. John was left with an undeniable truth. This was not a simple hotel ghost story. This was a tale of a restless spirit, a woman wronged, a mystery waiting to be solved, and he was the only one who could help her. She had a story to tell, and she would not rest until it was heard. How do you help someone who is no longer among the living? It's a question that no one expects to grapple with, yet it became the central challenge for the staff and guests of this haunted hotel. The spirit of the young woman, a once vibrant presence now trapped in an endless cycle of torment, had stirred their hearts. And so they rallied together, united by a shared purpose, to uncover her story, to bring her peace. The staff began by delving into the hotel's history, sifting through dusty ledgers and faded newspaper clippings. They discovered the tragic tale of a woman, vibrant and full of life, whose existence was abruptly extinguished in the prime of her youth. A story that had been forgotten, buried under the weight of time, was now resurfacing, demanding to be heard. Meanwhile, guests contributed in their own ways. Some offered prayers, others left tokens of respect in the room she was known to haunt. Many shared their encounters with her spirit, piecing together a narrative that stretched beyond the confines of the physical world. Then came the task of resolving the mystery surrounding her death. It was a puzzle that required patience, determination, and a willingness to face the stark realities of human cruelty. Yet, they persevered, driven by a desire to help this restless spirit find her long-awaited peace. In the process, they discovered something profound. This wasn't just about fear or the thrill of the supernatural, rather it was a lesson in empathy, in reaching out beyond the boundaries of our own existence to understand another's pain. And so, they honored her memory, acknowledged her story, and in doing so, they helped her spirit find the peace it had been seeking. The once haunted hotel now stood as a symbol of understanding and compassion. In the end, it wasn't about the horror, but about understanding and compassion. And perhaps that's the true essence of any ghost story.